Do not let your real wife ever meet your work wife.
For all the love and support, don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright lovelies, let's get into this video. So lovelies, I came by this video on my For You page on TikTok where a lot of people have a lot of things to talk about, you know, work husband and work wives. I do not even know that there is something like that it actually exists, and a lot of people have their own opinion concerning a work husband and a work wife. Guys, I was able to put up some stage as well as the videos. I'm just gonna roll it. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and let's get into the video. Love this.
Me and my friend were talking about work husbands and work wives. Work husband, work wives is a thing. And if you don't know about it, you gotta find out. I've known about work husband, work wives. That's why I would never date someone that works with a lot of females. I've never trusted the establishment at all. And I know it sounds like really messed up, insecure. No, I'm so sorry. I've seen where I'm in the office, literally a married husband, a married wife, laughing together, taking lunches together, sometimes leaving after work, sitting in their car until they actually leave. That thing exists. I really would only want to talk to a man first with nothing but all guys. I already know what you're gonna say. Well, if a guy's gonna cheat, he's gonna cheat, and you're absolutely 100% correct. You know what? It makes it easier for a man to cheat when they have a candy dangling in their face. It's called temptation, because nothing's presented to them. They're at work, they're tired, they're hanging out with the boys, they come back home, they get fed by their wife, XYZ. Put them somewhere and the temptation, the challenge starts to happen. Tests becomes involved. Emotional connections are getting involved, or laughing, and then you are with these people 80% of the day, and then you go home, and then you go back, build relationships. I was back at school. I worked at a grocery. I was pushing baskets at like HEB. One of my managers, she was beautiful. Her husband would always come in with the kids. They're like, oh, like, look, your husband's here, blah, blah, blah. She started having an affair with the other manager. They were always together, and everybody knew about it. They ended up getting a divorce, her and her husband. And I'm not saying don't trust your significant other. I'm just saying it's a thing.
There is nothing worse than falling for your work husband. I've been in a situation where I've dated my work husband. You see, men at work, they're very different to outside. Let's just say your work husband is working in a bank. He's wearing the suits and tie. He's looking sexy. His work shirt is pressed. He smells delicious. His hair's always set. His shoe is always polished. The day that you see that boy outside of work, that chemistry would jump out, because the same guy that's wearing double-breasted blazer, you'll see him outside and he's wearing G shorts and the trainers, dirty Vans. Girls, have you ever seen your work husband outside of work and you're like, you're actually more sexy in the corporate? In real life, the swaggeroony is not quite there now, is it?
Anyone who has a work wife or work husband is a massive red flag. If you don't know, this guy Ned from the Try Guys was fired because he cheated on his wife with his associate producer. 1, I feel bad for the guy's wife. This is horrible that it's public. 2, if your significant other claims to have a work wife or work husband, run. Why? Because habibi, it will only lead to problems. They will start to get close with their work wife. They will complain to their work husband. They get close. They become besties, spending 8 hours at work 5 times a week. Then they go to happy hour. But there will not be a happy ending for you in this situation. To me, the label is a cover to show they're interested in one of their coworkers. Nothing else, nothing more.
What's a mistake you learned the hard way that you can now help people to avoid?
I want to save this video so you can go ahead and watch it later, because what I'm about to say is as true as the gospel. Do not let your real wife ever meet your work wife. I'm not talking about a workplace romance. I'm talking about your workplace bestie. Person besides your actual wife that you spend the most time with. Because the problem is both of those two people have equally incriminating evidence against you. My work wife's name is Joey. He's a 38-year-old combat veteran with mild PTSD and a general hatred for people. Our bromance is fueled off of nicotine and caffeine, but there's a whole other video about that. Because if you make the unfortunate mistake of letting those two people meet, the only thing that they have in common is you. But there's two different versions of you. For the love of God, do not let either of them hold your phone. Because if your actual wife sees the group chat that you're involved with, there's a good chance she's gonna leave you. If your work wife or your bestie sees the text messages that your real wife sends you, he's probably gonna start whispering in your ear how you probably should leave her. It's a delicate tightrope walk keeping both of them happy. My ex-work wife doesn't even talk to me anymore. Him and his real wife filed for divorce, and I'm pretty sure I was named in the deposition. Love something, let it go. It doesn't matter. He's in a better place now. Saying you see all these videos and all these movies of all these people getting together with their friends and family on the weekend. Just like Admiral Akbar said, it's a trap!
There's one thing that I miss about being around women and like being able to have like my work wives. It's the ability to just be myself, which makes their boyfriends and husbands like look not great. Because, you know, I'm lover boy. I'm lover boy Daddy Dutch. And like, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. You want me to pick up? You want Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich, extra pickles, some zesty buffalo, right? And a Coke to drink, Dr. Pepper, sorry. And they'll be like, how do you know that? Like, my boyfriend doesn't even remember that about me. And I'm like, because I'm better than him. And like, just these subtle little differences of like me doing the things, because I get to hear all the complaints about the boys. So like, I know what you're missing from your life. You're like, oh, your man's not giving you some affection? Here, you want a nice big long hug? And I give good hugs because I'm short, so I get the underhooks. And whoever has the underhook on the hug is giving the better hug. When you're around the neck, that's a shitty hug, if you didn't know that. But yeah, I miss being able to just be a little fucking menace. Like, go, oh, you're going home? Like, well, Brandon did this. Ah, who did what? For who? That's right, I did it. Daddy Dutch is the work husband extraordinaire. I'm making y'all all look like shit. Ran to Starbucks, got your bitch a hot chocolate, brought a little extra Reese's peanut butter cup in my lunch just for her because I know she loves them. I'm a menace.
Okay, y'all, so I didn't know this was like an actual thing. I've been hearing about it like more and more lately, whatever. So this whole work wife, work husband thing is like a real thing. Like, okay, so I was working at this job. I'm not gonna say the job. And it was these two people, right? One had a husband and one had a significant other. And it kind of started off like a crush. But then they started going to lunch together every day. And I was like, okay. And then it got to where they was intimate. Like, they was doing this on our lunch breaks. And they kind of had like a little bit of rank. So they could come back from lunch late. Fast forward, it turned into a whole like thing to where now people don't fell in love. Now, mind you, people got whole like spouses and stuff, and I just could not understand. So when I left the job years later, come to find out they was still fooling around with each other. They're not together now, from what I know. But I just did not know, because you know, they was like, oh, that's my work wife, that's my work, whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay, not a big deal, until it like grew into something bigger, and I just could not understand it. And somebody was like, well, you gotta think about it like this. You go to work for like 8 hours a day. So a lot of times you see these people more than you see your spouse. And I was like, what? So you mean to tell me you could cheat at work and make money and you come home like nothing happened? Okay, so I'm kind of messy. Can y'all put in the comments if y'all ever heard of like a work wife, work husband situation blowing up bigger than what it was?
Like, seriously, lovely. I particular, I don't even know that this work wife or a work husband is actually a thing. I just saw the trend on TikTok. I was like, what the heck is a work wife and a work husband? Then I realized that a work wife is maybe someone you get into relationship with knowing or unknowingly, like someone you're very free with at a workplace. Sometimes when you're coming to work, you're like, okay, I need to get a coffee for this a friend of mine, and you begin to like, you know, try to like this person like in a friendship manner, like, and you don't know on your own that you're beginning to, you know, develop some kind of likeness, you know. And you know, some situation, a lot of people find it very, very, you know, comfortable and very you know, free with their work husbands or work wife, because you can actually share a lot of things with your work husband or your work wife. You can share your family problems with them. You can share anything that's happening in your home. You're practically going to work to, tell your spouse who happens to be your work husband or your work house. You have to like, okay, I am my husband. We had a little issue today, and this guy did that. My husband this and that, or my wife this and that. Like somebody you can confide in your workplace. So without even realizing that, oh my God, this person is your work husband or your work wife, but there are so many disadvantages of this work husband or a work wife, which I think I posted most of the stitches which they talked about the disadvantages, because most of all this work wife or a work husband, a lot of people tend to like, okay, I have nothing to do with my work husband. We're just very good friends. There is nothing like going down there. It wasn't like, it's not involved, like that area of friendship is not involved. But a lot of people, a lot of some guys, girls, they actually take it to another level. They often feel more comfortable with their work husband or work wife, and sometimes most of them will actually prefer to spend more time at work. And this is something that affects relationship one way or the other. Like, I would not actually personally encourage work husband or work wife, because one way or the other you will get addicted to this person. You start comparing this person with the person you have at work. That's why some relationship, you see them cheating with their secretaries or their colleague at work, because they get the comfort which they were actually supposed to be getting at home from those work wife or work husband. So that's why I don't actually encourage such, because some people might use it or take advantage of you, because they've known everything about you. You've been telling them your ups and downs in your relationship. You've been telling them how you've been treated, and especially if you're someone that's been treated so badly, instead of them to advise you, maybe your work wife or work husband, instead of he or she to advise you on how to build your relationship, or how to like maybe encourage you, or maybe counsel you, and give you some advice that might help you in building your relationship, they will go ahead to want to spoil your relationship, because they are getting interested in you, because this work wife or work husband, it has something in common. You might just end up falling for each other. You might end up being in love with each other without even knowing. Before you know it, you're already above the work wife and work husband level. But the first guy that I was teaching, or the second guy, he was like, okay, the best thing that a man could do is not to allow your work wife get to know your real wife, which I was like, why are you hiding it if you know that you are like, if you know that what you're doing is right and you don't have any skeleton on your curb, so why are you trying to hide your work wife from your real wife? Is it that you have he gave his own reasons why you shouldn't, because you might end up being the center of attraction or center whatever reasons he gave. But I think if you're trying to hide things like this, that means you have a planning agenda. You have an agenda. You want to like have two women in your life. You want to have the one at home and the one at work, and this is just being selfish. Seriously, this is just being selfish. Because I believe that even if you have someone at work, and you guys are just maybe in good times and all of that, courtesy, it's a courtesy for you to introduce this person to your wife, so that your wife will know that, okay, at least, okay, my husband knows someone, and you should have a limit in your work husband thing and work wife, because especially the married couple, what I went for to search, to go for maybe searching for the comments and all of that, is someone actually wrote on the comment section that she regretted ever getting married to her work husband. Yeah, because do you know this work wife of a thing and work husband has to do with two personalities. The personality of a person at workplace is actually different from a person at home. So when you eventually get married to this person, you get to realize that this person is actually not your kind of person. Like, you get to know this person in and out, the person's, how the person, you know, sleep, eat, and all of that, like the person's home. You get to realize that this person is not actually what you think the person is. So this thing just has to do with so many things, and I just want people to take it easy with this work wife thing and work husband thing that is trending on TikTok, because if you are a married person, you might be, you know, misled, thinking that this your work husband or work wife is actually something that you can cope with, is your spec and all of that. Eventually you messed up and your relationship at home is broken, and you want to move in with your whosoever work husband. You realize that this person is actually not the person I want. And I stitched a video where a woman was like, okay, just imagine seeing your work husband at work all flashy, smelling nice and all of that. Then one day all of a sudden you see him in a shorts and looking all tattered. Like, that these things are just, oh my goodness, it's just our imaginations. Anyway, lovely, so why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes. So please share this video, subscribe, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.